This is Scott McVicker, co-host of Ring In Free Thoughts with Dan and Scott. Catch us live every other Friday night, 9:15 on the Let Freedom Ring Facebook page, the Let Freedom Ring YouTube channel. Tune in. We talk about who knows what. We name the crumb bum of the week. You never know who it's going to be. I wear fun shirts. This one's got my daughter on it. Tune in. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Scott McVicker of Ringin' Free Thoughts with Dan and Scott and Merrimack TV proudly bring to you the host of Let Freedom Ring, Dan Bolia.
Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. I hope everybody's having a great week. We're going to set the clocks, I believe, forward this weekend. We're going to have more light. So I can't wait for that. But my guest this week, Jeff Feeny. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dan.
Hey,
good
pleasure
to be here.
Yeah, no, excited to have you on. Let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Pittsfield, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Real small town. 5,000 people in the town.
Oh, wow.
Graduated with like 38 kids.
Okay.
Born and raised there. Graduated high school there. Played lots of sports there. And now these days I reside in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Nice. Yeah.
Now,
what's that like going from, Pittsfield to, I guess, like Manch Vegas, as they would call it?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's certainly been I would say like a slow transition. So after Pittsfield, I migrated to Concord.
Okay.
And then from Concord, I kind of moved my way on to Manchester. So it's kind of been, a couple steps in the process of getting closer to, a bigger city environment. But yeah, I mean, certainly, in Pittsfield, everyone knows everyone, and in Manchester, I've put myself out there quite a bit in the community, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of rare, I would say. Not rare, but I would say there's plenty of times I can go out into Manchester and, not see anybody that I know, so.
Now, is your family still in Pittsfield, or?
I have some family in Pittsfield. Yep. I have an aunt and an uncle who are in Pittsfield, but my dad has moved on to down to Massachusetts years ago. My grandmother is now in a home, so my uncle is still in Pittsfield actually as well. So still got some family there. Yeah, nice. But don't find the time to visit.
Yeah.
too often.
Is that like one of those towns where it's like, because I know people like in Hollis, right? Like they got to drive to Nashua to get to a grocery store or somewhere. Is it like a one gas station town? Like you got to travel to get to groceries?
I would say that maybe people that aren't from there probably might have that perspective on it. But there's actually there's several gas stations, multiple grocery stores.
Okay.
There's a Rite Aid. So there's there's industry there, but probably from for people that aren't from there would probably have that that perspective, or maybe that's how like they would see it or think of it, and can't really blame them. When there's 4,000 to 5,000 people in the town, and the graduating classes are these days I'm not sure.
What's the high school there? Is it called Pittsfield High?
It's Pittsfield Middle High School.
Okay.
So it's 7 through 12, 7 and 8 are down below, and then 9 through 12 the high school is up top.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. I don't know if I've ever driven through Pitt. I'm not sure. Like, what's the surrounding towns there?
So Northwood, Barnstead,
okay,
Epsom, Chichester.
Yeah. So that's up there.
Yeah. It's not too far. It's probably like 40 minutes from here.
Okay, I'm trying to pick. I've lived in New Hampshire my whole life, and I'd like to say like I'm so proud to be from New Hampshire, but like sometimes I start getting a little confused once you go past Concord, where things, you know, kind of are.
Sure. Yeah. It's very New Hampshire, you know. Definitely there's, you know, downtown area, but there's lots of great scenery.
Yeah.
You know, lots of land. You know, it's home.
Yeah.
So.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, glad to have you in this area now.
Yeah.
Now, what are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
I would say one, that I'm a Taurus. Because so pretty much any trait that like the Taurus has, I have. You know, I believe that through and through. And then I would just say I'm a guy that loves God and loves sports.
Okay.
You know.
And we are gonna, because there are questions about your fanhood, because it's kind of interesting.
Sure.
We'll get to that in the fan questions. Do you have a favorite sport overall?
I would say probably golf.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I would say probably in my younger years it was football. At some points it was baseball or basketball. But it's honestly hard to say. You know, I think it's kind of always been hard to identify just one sport as being my absolute favorite. You know, but I think I would say, for the simple fact that golf is so challenging and how hard it is.
Yep.
I would say that's what makes it my favorite, because it's that much more rewarding when you play well. And just like the guys that are on tour, it's just incredible, like what they can do. Like it's insane.
Golf is not something I'm good at
Yeah.
all. I've done it a handful of times. Like I went golfing one time before the pandemic. And I remember that was one of the first things they said you could go do again. So I bought a set. Yeah, it's a hard game. It definitely is.
Yeah, so it's one of those games where like some days you suck and some days you suck a little less.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, sticking with the theme of the show, this is the money question we ask everybody. The show's Let Freedom Ring. But what does it mean to you to be an American?
I would say being an American is about being open-minded, honestly. You know, being accepting of other cultures, because like we have everything here.
Yeah.
You know, it's the land of opportunity, land of freedom, and you know, living in a box is just kind of a hard way to live in the United States. You know, certainly all the advancements we've made with, you know, technology and industry and immigration, what have you. There is a market for just about anything you can think of in America, you know. So I think to be open-minded, you know, to be hardworking, you know, we're the hardest working country in the world, you know, in terms of you know, worked hours versus like vacation time and stuff, you know. So like we grind, you know, but you know, work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the land of opportunity, but there's just, you know, we just have so many freedoms and we have so many resources and access to like so many beautiful and like amazing things, you know. And you know, if you ever get a chance to just like drive across the country, you know, you should do it, because it's incredible. Like the United States is amazing. Like there's just so much to see. You know, you got a tropical climate down in Florida, and then, you know, you got the Midwest, you got Montana, and, you know, big sky country, West Coast, mountains here at home, you know. So it's kind of unique in a lot of ways, you know. But definitely being open-minded and just being willing to like do the work, you know, to get to where you want to go, because like there is opportunity here, you know, and in most cases, a lot of cases, like the people that work hard and do the work will get ahead in this country eventually.
Yeah, no, I like that answer, and I like the open-mindedness. I mean, we're a very diverse country, and I love that about our, you know, about the United States. And
for sure,
are we perfect? No. You know, and I think that's that's just part of being an American, right? Like, and yeah, that's a well-rounded answer. I like that a lot. I want to get into this because there's kind of two things about you that are very interesting, because you're a sober softball player, and those kind of go hand in hand a little bit in part of the softball community. But how did you decide that you wanted to get sober?
Well, honestly, like, my life was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't draw a sober breath for 15 years, you know, and I mean, literally couldn't put together one day of sobriety. Didn't know how to live, you know, didn't know how to handle life on life's terms. Was constantly troubled, was constantly baffled by anything that life threw at me, was constantly uncomfortable, no ability to be present, and I ran amok, you know, I really did. You know, I messed up my life pretty bad, and by the end of it, I was really banged up, you know, and ultimately, you know, the short answer is probably just I finally had enough pain.
Yeah.
You know, I finally got, you know, what they call, you know, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, right?
That's a good way to put it.
And, you know, I was just so beaten down that I finally had hit enough pain to have a little bit of willingness to, like, maybe try something different, you know, and maybe stop doing things my way, you know. So that's basically why I wanted to get sober, is I just wanted the pain to stop.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea that I wanted my life to transform and become like what it is today. I just knew my life sucked, and I knew I was tired of living the way I was living, and I knew it at some point it was all going to catch up to me. And I was either going to end up dead or in prison.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I reached a point of surrender.
Yeah.
Basically.
I agree with that. You know, everybody's kind of rock bottom looks a little bit different, but I mean, for me, alcohol beat me completely into submission. It's like it was one of those things, couldn't live without it.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine life without it, right? Yeah. And but I like how you also said, you know, my way didn't work. I thought I would just stop, right? I thought like there was a magic wand, I would just stop drinking,
right?
And it was just going to happen. And then I realized, at 38 years old, this isn't isn't stopping.
And you know, maybe normal people can do that. You know,
Yeah.
A normal person probably could do that, but I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah.
Right? So I need a design for living. I need structure, and you know, I need a plan that's not mine.
Yeah.
Basically, you know, I need ideas that weren't mine. You know, and that's why, you know, the program of recovery that I work today, I need it in my life all the time, every single day. You know, it's become a way of life for me, basically. You know, like I called it a design for living. That's what it is, and you know, I follow it to the best of my ability, as humanly possible. I still make plenty of mistakes.
Yeah.
I still have lots of work to do. You know, there's lots of things about myself that I still need to look at and you know, continue to address in order to continue to grow and heal. And be able to take corrective action on my life. But, you know, God's taken me a long way.
Yeah.
You know, God's blessed me beyond measure. And, I mean, I'm just beyond blessed today to, like, have the life that I have, and for life to look like it does now compared to what it did 5 years ago. I never could have thought, I never could have been in my wildest imagination or my dreams could have, you know, envisioned, you know, what has happened and taken place in my life. So to say that I sold myself short when I, you know, maybe first got sober and was thinking what my life could look like is probably an understatement. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of things have changed. I've healed a lot. You know, I'm not as argumentative. I don't accept every invitation to every fight or argument that I get. You know, just small things like that, but they're very big wins for me. You know, but yeah, God is good, man. Blessed.
Now, when you first, because like for me, like, you know, what did you think of like one day at a time when you first were getting sober? Because I could not actually, anytime I tried to stop drinking, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
How did that like click for you that like, okay, you really can live one day at a time?
Sure. Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that. I'm glad you brought it up, right? Because the one day at a time, it takes on different meanings. At least it has for me. I'll speak on my experience, but it's taken on different meanings for me as I've stayed sober and, you know, continued down this path. At first, it was literally just like together one day of sobriety, right? Make it through one 24-hour period without a drink. You know, it was that simple, and it had to be that simple for me at first, right? And then I think just over time, you know, it's meant different things. You know, and today, it for me it means like the work never stops. You know, the work never stops, right? This is a lifelong process, right? But I get one day when I wake up every morning, you know, I get one day to seek, you know, what my higher power has in store for me. You know, I get one day to stay sober. I get one day to be helpful to somebody else. I get one day to heal. I get one day to you know, grow, you know, and learn from yesterday, you know, or even in that present moment, you know. But really, it means so many different things to me all the time, and it changes. You know, it depends on the day that you ask me sometimes, right? It really does, you know. Today, in this very moment, me and you here sitting here talking, you know, one day at a time for me means, you know, blessed today, you know, content today, you know, I'm okay today. Tomorrow could be a different story, you know, but if I keep doing the things that, you know, have allowed me to get well, then I got a really good chance of having another good one day tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It's wild and it's what a life, you know. It does just get better, you know. I remember like hitting that pink cloud, right? And then coming off the pink cloud.
Yeah.
But then you like get back on because like you said, like life just keeps continuing.
Life happens.
Know? And I could never wrap my brain around any of that, you know. I wanted life to be a certain way, and it doesn't have to be really, it's a temporary journey.
Yeah.
You know. Got to ask you this, though. So what exactly is sober softball?
So I have been playing sober softball for a couple years now. I got asked by Chris Foster, actually, a couple years ago to go down to Florida to play at Sober Softball Worlds down in Vieira at the Space Coast there, where they have all the U-Trip tournaments, you know, like regular Worlds and the Challenge Cup, all that stuff. It's basically just a bunch of sober people that have found solitude in playing the game that we love, softball. And you know, we go down, we rent a house together, you know, we hang out together, we go out to eat together, you know, we hang out while we're there at the complex together between games. And I mean, we just have a blast. You know, we have a lot of fun, you know, and we're blessed to be able to do it, you know, and that's the thing. It's all about like perspective, you know. It really is like we don't want to lose sight of what's important, you know. When we go on these trips, like we want to win and we want to compete, absolutely, 100%. But more importantly, we want to show like the newcomer, that like it's possible to have fun in sobriety,
Yeah.
right? Like that's what it's all about, is to show people you can get sober, your life can get really good, and you can do cool things like travel around the country to play in huge softball tournaments, you know? So it's a very much an inclusive, never exclusive kind of thing, you know? You want to get sober and you want to play softball, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter your competition level. It doesn't, like, there's so many teams, you know, that are always going down, you know. So there's a level, there's different levels, right? There's uppers, there's mids, there's lowers. So there's an opportunity, you know, for anybody that wants to get sober and play softball around the country and travel. It's there, you know, and it's, you know, it's huge out west. It's very, very big. It's gotten a lot bigger here in New England and here in like New Hampshire. I would say kind of specifically, you know, when I got sober, you know, Rock Bottom was going down. You know, they were bringing like one team down to Florida, you know, a few years back, and now I think this past November, we brought down something like 5 or 6 teams down there.
Yeah, it's definitely,
you know, just crazy, you know, and it's really, there's a big wave like in Manchester of people getting sober and playing softball, you know. My U-Trip team even this year, we're all sober, you know. So yeah, it's a blast, man. You know, we just love it. We just have a lot of fun, but ultimately at the end of the day, the primary purpose of all of it is to show the newcomer, to show people that you can get sober and have a blast in sobriety.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do you get to talk with like the other teams? Or they have like meetings? And
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that?
absolutely. Yeah. So they hold meetings, you know, at these tournaments in between games and stuff. And in the mornings, you know, they have like meditation meetings even and stuff. You know, before the games start. And I've got lots of contacts in my phone. You know, I've got friends now in, you know, Utah, Colorado, Texas, California. Florida, you know, Minnesota, you know, from all over the place, you know. So now, you know, I've got more people in my network,
yeah.
right? So now you know, if I decide to like travel to one of these states, you know, I've got a lot of people that I can hit up and be like, hey, you know, I'm in town, like I'm around, you know. So that's a huge part of it. Part of it, right? It is. You know, building your network, you know, having other sober people across the country is like it's a big deal, right? And it's important because you just never know, right? You never know when that's really going to come into play for you, you know, like we said earlier, like life happens, right? So who knows, you know, who knows, you know, 5-10 years down the road, like, maybe I do end up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't plan on it. I don't see that, you know, being the case. But it's just great to have people. It's just great to have people across the country that are also sober and you know, also like walking this path.
Yeah. No, I think it's awesome and it's a good concept. I mean, I was talking to someone too. Is that, you know, I would love to get involved with it more. I'm not a huge traveling type of person. Just kind of how I am. Not saying I don't travel, but I'm not like, you know, I see people like, I'm in Texas this week. Yeah, like I couldn't do that. Like I just, you know, but I'd love to see something even grow in the area, you know, even like leagues and stuff, like where you could, you know, not to be, obviously softball is always trying to be inclusive and get everybody involved, but even just like, you know, maybe a group that plays pickup games, that's the focus. And I don't know, we were throwing out ideas of like a meeting before the game or after the game. Yeah. Maybe after the game. Sure. And just have, you know, stuff around here like that. I think it'd be cool.
And I honestly think it's going to get there.
Yeah.
I honestly see, I see there being some kind of sober softball league.
Yeah.
in the coming years in the Manchester area. I really do, because it's growing like that fast, and it's getting that big and that popular. It's just great. It's just beautiful to see.
Yeah.
It's like, it's amazing. I would have never, in my wildest dreams when I got sober in 2019, imagined that, like, I'd be playing sober softball, traveling around the country, but also seeing this wave of just growth in the community, and with an interest in the game of softball. It's been really, really cool to see people, get sober, get well, and have that outlet, and have that available to them, and become passionate about it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. And again, that's not trying to like just more of like a fellowship type of league.
Of course.
Yep. But I mean, I enjoy playing with everybody. It's just yeah, I just don't participate in the things I used to. And I remember, before I found recovery, like when I tried to stop drinking, when I'd go to the field and I'd be crawling out of my skin.
Sure.
Absolutely crawling out of my skin, which is why I could never get more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I had to really do the uncomfortable work to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah, of course.
And it's crazy, because did you come into softball already sober, or were you playing before that?
So I played softball like years ago.
Okay.
I think for like a couple seasons on, like an adult league. And I'm like, baseball was my best sport.
Sure. Yep.
As a kid, I made like all-state and stuff, and that was always my best sport, and so, I've played softball here and there, and it was always a lot of fun, because I just felt like I was, playing baseball again, but then I didn't play for years and years and years. So when I started playing again in 2019, I didn't know anything, I knew I might have, had the ability to maybe someday become decent, but I was very raw from a slow pitch softball perspective. I didn't know anything about the game, I didn't know that a slow pitch softball swing is different than a baseball swing.
Yeah.
So I was humbled very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonder. I love it. I've been playing since I was 20 years old,
Yeah.
and I couldn't picture my life out. But when I first, last year, when, after everything, I was like, can I go back? Like, I wasn't sure.
Sure.
And then I realized, I was like, okay, you can. Because it took me about a month to start playing again last year. And then I was like, wow, what a year. Like, I had more fun than I've had. That's because, obviously, if you know alcoholism, it's progressive. And where I was at the end, I don't know if I was enjoying playing anymore, to be honest. And then to find recovery and go into this last season, I was like, this was fun still.
Sure.
I still do have a fun time doing this. More of a fun time, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of wild.
Which just brings it back to like our message with sober softball is like, dude, your life's not over.
Yeah.
That was like my biggest fear when I first got sober, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to have fun?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? What are my Friday nights going to look like? My Saturday nights, my weekends? How am I going to watch football, right? How am I going to play golf? All these things. I was terrified. I was like, my life's over. I'm screwed, right? I'm going to have to just accept living like a schmuck. Yeah. Right? That's how I felt, and thank God for the fellowship,
Yeah.
Like you mentioned the fellowship a few times there, they saved me, they showed me that my life wasn't over, they showed me that I could get well, and they showed me that I could have fun.
Yeah.
Sober, and at the time, like that blew my mind, and it still does sometimes, I'm still amazed. Like sometimes I still have to like pinch myself, and I just have to be like, I'm sober, and I'm having like all this fun, and I'm this happy, like this is crazy, right? Because like I said, I didn't draw a sober breath for 15 years, right? I spent 15 years walking in the woods, so
yeah,
maybe it's going to take me 15 years to walk out. I don't know, but life's gotten really good. And I'm grateful for the people that have helped me along the way and welcomed me and showed me just how much fun there is to be had, and how much life there is to live.
I totally agree with that. And honestly, for me at the end, like, I knew how miserable it had made me. But I remember sitting in treatment being like, they were talking about going to a football game. I was like, I'm never going to be able to go to a game again. But you realize, like, as time goes on and the more you learn and the more you get away from it, and you really do have to put in the time. That's something that I really learned fast, was that if I'm going to stay well, it's the same as like brushing your teeth and going to the doctor. You've got to put work into your recovery. And it is, but that light bulb that goes off is like, holy, like, my life has gotten better. And I've realized, I was like, when I was going to those football games, I didn't remember them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's wild.
One jackpot after another. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's wild. And it's like, to live this lifestyle where I just get to have so much fun, and I'm just so blessed. Like you said, it does require work, right? It does, like, I have to take action on my recovery. Just like I have to take action on my life, right? I have to pay my creditors, and I have to pay my bills, in order to keep lights on and a roof over my head and stuff, right? And I have to brush my teeth, to avoid having to go to the dentist. I have to take action on my recovery in order to stay spiritually fit. That's just the way it works. They say, like, action precedes understanding. But I can't think myself into like better situations. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm in it, I'm in it, and there's no thought that's going to change my reality. The only thing that will change my reality when I'm struggling is action. Changing my environment, changing my reality, picking up the phone, calling someone to ask and see how they're doing. Whatever that looks like, it's through action, not through thinking.
It's true.
Because I have stinking thinking.
Yeah. this brain goes in all different directions.
Yeah, it's broken.
I do want to get into fan questions. From Mary Lynn, I think it's Bon Giovanni.
Bon Giovanni.
Bon
yes.
Giovanni. She just said, "Wait, what?" So I think she's excited about this episode.
She is.
I see a lot of her. Like, I added her on Facebook because I
Yeah.
started noticing, like, she was in a lot of pictures. Like, people would get tagged, and I was like,
Sure.
I don't think I met her, but I was like, I pretty much know her, so I just added her on Facebook.
So we grew up together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
We've been really good friends for a long time in Pittsfield. We grew up
right.
together, and she's walking a similar path today.
Nice.
And so she's my best friend. We talk every day.
Okay.
So.
Very cool.
Yeah. And the number 23 is mine, by the way.
Oh, jeez. Jared Acker says, "Do you have eye black stick on right now?" That's like your calling card. You're really known for that.
I love that one. Yeah. It's funny. Like, I'm probably like the guy that's just known as like Mr. Eye Black, the guy that wears eye black, whether it's whether it's outside and the sun's shining, or it's raining and overcast, or we're inside in a dome. I don't care. I can't play without it.
Okay.
I just it goes back to my baseball days, and but it's funny because I know that the stigma is out there, or the reputation, if you will, of just like the guy that always wears eye black. And it's funny, I have fun with it. My friends razz me about it all the time, my teammates. It's great, and honestly, like, the more I hear about it, the more I just want to put on eye black.
Yeah. Hey, as everybody knows, I love gimmicks, and that's your gimmick. So just keep running.
It makes me look like a better player than I actually am. So that's awesome. Maybe something to do with it.
Zane Freese wants to ask, you sure you want a guy whose entire wardrobe is compression material on?
Yeah,
that
that was good. Yeah, so Yeah, I said to Zane, coming from the guy that can't go a day without wearing Carhartts and Merrills, but yeah, no, it's I don't know. At some point, I just realized that I like what I like, and I like to be comfortable. You know, so I mean, I have some jeans, I got dress clothes, I have nice clothes, button ups, polos, you name it, but. Unless I have to, man, for the most part, like I'm rocking joggers and a hoodie, you know. I just like to be comfortable, you know. So you'll rarely see me in a pair of jeans or a pair of khakis. It's 98% of the time probably I'm in joggers and a hoodie or joggers and something comfortable.
Once you're over 30, like, I want to be comfortable.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. You know, and it's, I have the experience of, doing like the Abercrombie and Fitch thing.
Oh, God,
and, I think we all have, those days and those experiences. But, I don't like clothes to be tight.
Yeah.
I like stuff to be kind of loose and soft and comfortable. And, yeah, that's just my jam, that's my style.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. Kyle Kaplan, the president of the Franklin League, has a couple questions. Is he playing in Franklin this year? I need to mentally prepare myself for that. Are you playing there?
I have officially registered for Franklin, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kyle is well aware, and he's excited.
We've had Kyle in here twice.
Oh, awesome.
Very interesting. He doesn't. I haven't played in that league. It's obviously too far, but he does. Looks like he does a fantastic job.
So much. It's incredible. Like, it's incredible. Kyle's a great guy, and the Franklin League is just so much fun. You get a plate appearance song, which mine is Brett the Hitman Hart's theme song.
I love that.
But it's incredible, like how much work has gone into it. The sponsorships, just the support from everyone that plays in the league. Everyone's willingness to help out and be of service, and it's grown. And Kyle's even gonna start doing an all-star game this year, in the middle of the season, which is so cool. So he's he continues to look for ways to grow the league.
Yeah.
Right? And improve the league. And that's how great leagues are built, right?
And it's great for that area because when you think of softball in the state, you don't think of Franklin.
Yeah.
He's kind of put that on the map.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the Franklin softball community is just holds a special place in my heart, honestly. I have a lot of friends in the Franklin, Belmont, Lakes region, Laconia area, because of that league. And it's just so much fun. I just love it. But Kyle's just done an amazing job with launching the league and just, it continues to grow, and more competitive ball players are joining. So it's becoming more competitive, and again, that's how great leagues, that's how they start.
Sure.
And that's how they get better, and that's how they grow. And really excited for Franklin this year.
He also wants to know, has he found a new boyfriend? I know him. I know the Kevin Gibson breakup was rough on him.
Yeah, well, me and Gibson have recently made up, so we're doing the long distance thing. He's down in Florida.
He's in Florida?
Yeah, he moved to Florida.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he moved to Florida back in August. So he's down there, and he's just loving it. Jealous.
Yeah.
Jealous in a lot of ways. I've wrestled with the idea of moving to Florida, thousands of times. But yeah, no, he's in Orlando, and he's doing really well. He's thriving. God is continuing to provide for him lots of opportunities, and he loves it down there. He's having a great time, and
good.
Yeah.
Good. I guess that's why I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
From Kendall Payne Glover of. Kendall keeps changing his YouTube show name, and I'm forgetting right now. He asked, "Did Brett screw Brett?"
So that's a great question, but honestly, I don't think so. I think
should he have done just drop the belt to Sean Or, I mean, we could go down a whole rabbit hole on this, actually, but for time purposes.
Well, they say, Brett had agreed to drop the belt to Sean, but he didn't want to do it in Montreal.
Yes, that is true.
And I think it was reasonable it would have been reasonable for Vince,
Shawn Michaels
for Vince
was
to honor
pretty
that.
out of control at that time.
He was.
And
that's the thing, Brett had the respect of the locker room and a lot of the guys in the business, and Sean didn't, But in terms of like Brett screwing Brett, I mean, Brett had agreed and was willing to drop the belt to him. I believe the next night.
He wanted to, but the contract was up. I mean, he was going to get a big paycheck from WCW.
Yep.
Vince had already given him a 20-year contract, took it back. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on.
Correct.
I mean, wrestling is not real.
Yeah.
So, when you look at it from a business perspective, like, go drop the belt.
Sure.
But it's still pretty real to Bret Hart. Even to this day,
yes,
it's pretty real to Bret Hart.
It is. But I think for Bret to drop the belt to Sean in Montreal, I think that I think it could have been done the next night on Raw, like they had talked about. And so, no, I think Vince screwed Bret. I really do. And, I know there's a lot of talk, there's chatter, that Bret, maybe took himself too seriously, took the whole thing too seriously. But, a guy like Jim Ross, he likes to, JR, right? He likes to talk about how, like, he respects that. He appreciates that because, like, there's not a lot of guys that do take the business seriously anymore, and there's a lot of guys back then that weren't taking the business seriously.
Well, it's funny, though, that he wouldn't do that. Then he jumps to WCW where all these guys had creative control over their characters and didn't do what was best for the company, and that company is no longer here. Sure. So, it's kind of one of those things where I get it. Bret was owed a little bit.
Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, I mean, Bischoff gave guaranteed contracts and creative control to guys, and I don't want, that doesn't work for me. I'm not doing it. How do you can't really run a wrestling company that way, at least in my perspective. I want to get through these kind of quick because we're getting short on time.
Sure.
But, advice for a first-year softball player. Anything that you would say?
Humble yourself.
Okay.
Humble yourself and listen to people. Listen to people that know the game. Take constructive criticism, ask questions, ask for help. I think a lot of people get into softball and they're so intimidated by these uppers players. But honestly, like, they're just normal people, and if you ask them for help, in my experience, a lot of these guys are more than willing to help out and, give really good advice and hitting tips and all that stuff. But, humble yourself. Humble yourself, learn from people that know the game, that know what they're talking about, that know what it takes to get better.
And have fun.
And have fun.
It should be fun,
yes.
Well,
yeah. I mean, that's I mean, that's none of us are getting paid.
Yeah.
Right? We all have to work for a living, so obviously, like, I play softball first and foremost because it's fun.
Yeah.
But I am very competitive as well. So I want to win. I want to improve, I want to do well. I want to help my team, But, humble yourself and ask for help.
Absolutely. I like that. From Tim Mears, and this is a good question, because you talk a lot of trash on Facebook about the Cowboys and stuff, being from New England. But how can you be a Celtics fan and a Cowboys fan in good conscience?
That's hard. I mean, so I would say the Cowboys were the first professional sports team that I ever started following.
Okay.
So I've been a Cowboys fan since I was 6 years old. It's been a long time, since 1995. So football was the first sport that I watched growing up. My stepdad love the Patriots, so we would watch football all day on Sundays. You know, back in the days of like Troy Aikman and Steve Young and Dan Marino, Brett Favre. You know, I grew up like watching all those guys. So basketball, I didn't really get into until I would say probably I was 8 or 9 years old, right around Paul Pierce's rookie season. Actually, is kind of when I started getting into basketball, which is right around no later than that, right 98? Around 99 or 2000.
I'm trying. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I think Pierce's rookie year was 99 or 2000.
Okay.
And then by like 2002, I think he was in his third year. That's when they went to these finals against the Nets
with Antoine Walker.
Yeah, so you know. Basically, I was just a Cowboys fan before anything else. But basically, it's Cowboys and then all New England. You know, I'm not a big hockey guy, but I would say go Bruins. You know, when it comes to hockey, although I don't really follow it, but go Sox. You know, but yeah. Football was just the first. Football was the first thing, and the Cowboys were cool. When I was 6 years old, you know, they were winning Super Bowls and they had the triplets and, you know, the star on the helmet. It was cool.
See, we hated the Cowboys in my house. But we were like, I wasn't a diehard football until I got older, like till I played football.
Sure.
When I was like 15, I started getting more into it. I always knew the Patriots were the home team. Like I liked Bledsoe, but like I didn't watch football every week because I didn't get it. Baseball was the sport I played, so I'd watch that religiously. But yeah, but we still hated the Cowboys in our house. Like we hated them. Like my aunt gave me
along with many others.
Yeah. I remember she gave me a sweatshirt, a Cowboy sweatshirt, and I was like looking at my mom like, I'm never gonna wear this.
Yeah.
You know. Andrew Watt wants to know, do crabs think fish can fly?
No.
Okay. Amy Forsyth wants to know what ice cream is that you had in the picture.
I believe that was pistachio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Or it might have been mint chocolate chip. I think it was actually mint chocolate chip.
It looked green.
It is. Yeah, it was mint chocolate chip, I believe. Yeah, that was right. That was actually right before I got on a plane to go to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple summers ago.
Yeah, it was a good picture.
Yeah,
I think I took it off. I think I took a profile picture.
It's my profile pic. Yeah.
Want to do some top fives here? Who are your top 5 favorite musical artists?
Oh man.
If you don't have 5, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I mean I could definitely name 5. Just off the top of my head, I mean I would probably start with probably Eminem.
Okay.
I'd go with probably Drake. I'll go Cascade, Empire of the Sun, and Odessa.
Okay. Empire of the Sun. They were in they did the song for the commercial there, right?
They're really weird.
Yeah. I like it. Do you have a top 5 favorite movies?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll go with Scarface.
Ooh, okay.
Blow. The Dark Knight Rises.
Not Dark Knight. Wait, Dark Knight. That's the last.
Dark Knight Rises is the last one.
Okay,
yeah,
over the Dark Knight.
Over the Dark Knight, yes.
Really? Okay.
Rises, yeah. With Bane. Yeah, as good as the Joker was, and Heath Ledger, just like legendary. But personally, I just like Rises better.
Okay.
The Bane, and I just like how the plot, the storyline of the League of Shadows comes back into play.
Yeah,
in the Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
I just think that that was really really cool.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
So there's 3. I don't know. We can go with Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Okay. I've seen that.
And how about American Gangster?
Oh, okay. You can throw Denzel in there?
the GOAT. The GOAT, yeah.
I do love Scarface. I don't think it's, I'm not sure if it's Pacino's best role, but I do love that movie.
Sure.
It's like, I did like a top 100 Let Freedom Ring movies. It was definitely in there.
Yeah.
Do you have any top moments playing slow pitch softball? Anything that's something that really just stuck out in your head that was like, that was pretty cool?
I
I'm sure there's a lot, but
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I would just say my first, the first trip, the trip down to Florida a couple years ago was pretty special. Our men's team, we had like no subs.
oh wow.
And we found ourselves in the losers bracket, and we just reeled off like 5 games in a row.
Oh wow.
Just made a run. Came up a little short. Came up with 3rd place, but yeah, we were gassed. We just ran out of gas. But just that run that we went on, when it's like 1,000 degrees and there's no subs, and everyone's hitting, everyone's having fun, everyone's up. I would say that. Really, all the trips that I've been on, all the trips that I've been on have just been super special. And even like this fall, our free agents team that actually made a run and played you guys in the finals after going like 1-11.
That was pretty cool.
In the regular season, which was really head scratching and kind of perplexing because we were better than 1-11. We knew that, but we didn't.
Sunday mornings.
We didn't put it together. Yeah, it it was something, but it just putting it together for that weekend. And making a run to the championship series with you guys, that was really cool.
Yeah, because I posted, I was like, it's the 3 seed versus the 8 seed in the finals, and people were like, the 3 and the 8, that's rare in softball.
Very rare, yeah.
I remember just getting to the field, and they're like, yeah, it's a 5-game series in this morning.
Which is so cool.
I was like, 5 games?
Yeah.
We had a good time.
I was ready to play a 7-game series, man. I
was just like...
I would have played an 11-game series. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I just never seen that before. Like when it's a 1-day series, it's the best of 3. So I was like, okay, we're going to be here for a while.
Sure.
And it turned out to be a fun day.
We got one off you guys.
Yeah. I think we avoided the rain.
Yeah.
I think we did.
For the most part, wasn't too bad.
Wanting to buy or sell, I'm going to give you a topic or something and let me know if you're buying or selling.
Sure.
First one, Bill Goldberg.
Sell.
As a Bret Hart fan, I figured I'd do that.
Sell.
Yeah.
Reckless.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Train
kid,
wreck.
Bret Hart hates him to this day.
He ended his career.
Yeah.
By being an idiot.
Yeah, I mean...
By being reckless and foolish. Like, see, so the one thing about Bret Hart that you have to respect is the guy was in the business for 21 years. He never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
He took his work and his craft very seriously, and he took never hurting anybody very seriously, and I respect that about Bret.
I actually watched this video, came up on Instagram today. It was way back in the day. I'd never seen it. When Triple H was talking to the Tough Enough rookies or whatever, and he was just burying Goldberg and saying, you respect a guy that's been here for a year that doesn't do this and that. And I was like, I didn't know he ever said this about Goldberg. I was like, I didn't realize how much and I read dirt sheets back then, but I just, looking back on it, I was like, man, they really hated him back then.
Yeah.
Martell Field here in Merrimack.
Buy. Yeah. Love it.
Kind of the crown jewel
Lights.
of the area, you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. The lights are a little tough. I hope someday we, can see maybe some better lights there. Here I am complaining about lights on a softball field. I got first row Cadillac problems through and through, right? But no, love it. Love the atmosphere there for Merrimack League, and there's nothing like it in summertime. Playing the 7:30 or the 8:30 game. When the lights are on and it's nice outside, and feel like being a kid. All over again, playing under the lights. Love it.
I think somebody's got J-Ro even announced.
Lots of great U-Trip there as well. Can't wait for the NIT coming up in April.
Yeah. Oh man, we're getting close to everything. TikTok.
Bye. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a TikTok. I've never made a TikTok, but my brother and other friends send me funny stuff all the time. I think it's great.
I get them on Instagram because I'm an older millennial.
Yeah.
So I don't have the TikTok either. But Dak Prescott.
Sell.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Had enough.
I've seen enough. Seen enough.
Let's see. Taylor Swift.
Buy.
Okay, Swift.
I'm a Swiftie.
Yeah.
100%. Love Taylor Swift. Got lots of Taylor Swift on my Spotify. Think she's great.
It's rare that anybody on the show has not taken Taylor Swift. She's great.
Yeah.
Last but not least, buy or sell the guy who really started the sober softball in the area, or at least got people involved, Chris Foster.
Buy. Yeah. Yeah, no, Foster's been great. He's provided a lot of opportunities for a lot of people. And, he's helped grow the game.
Yeah.
Not only has he, basically started the sober softball wave, but he's actually, grown the game. So, these rock bottom trips and, all these sober softball trips have actually helped develop players become, actual, decent softball players that are, well respected in the community and well liked, and they play other competitive ball, on other U-Trip teams and stuff. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. He's great.
Yep.
And I remember Foster when he didn't know anything.
Yeah.
He showed up at a game. He bought softballs from Dick's Sporting.
He's hilarious too. He's just really funny.
Yeah.
He's a good guy to he's a good guy to travel with and go on trips with, because he's just hilarious.
Yeah, Foster's good people.
Yeah.
But Jeff, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, Dan.
It's been a
good
blast.
to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll do it again sometime.
Appreciate it.
Everybody out there, have a great week. Keep your heads up. Go Free Jacks this weekend. Home opener at Fort Quincy. Cannot wait. But until next time, let freedom ring.